Welcome to One Guy, One Course, One Disc. We are here today in Sandersville, Georgia at the depot. So let's go take a look at the course. Hole 1 here at the depot is a 308-foot par 3. It's a wide open hole, so just find the disc you can throw the farthest and let it rip. But once you finish this hole, you'll find hole 2 across the gravel road to the right. Hole 2 is a 459-foot par 4 that splits right off the tee pad. The left side's probably a little more open, but it's going to require a good skip right in order to be in position for the second shot. So if you really wanted to tack on your second shot, this right side's a little bit better option. If you can get your first shot to land right about here, it makes this second shot very easy to the basket. You have these two trees you just got to get past that are about 88 feet in front of the basket. But once you get through these trees and into the tree line, you'll find the basket to the left. Once you finish hole 2, you'll find hole 3 straight ahead of you down this path. Hole 3 is a 295-foot par 3 that goes straight pretty much the whole way with a slight left finish. It's going to be 194 feet to this gap that's right here in front of us. That's about 10 feet wide, but hopefully you can get through these trees without any problem and have a look for birdie. And once you finish hole 3, you'll find hole 4 to your left. Hole 4 is a 259-foot par 3 that goes downhill 10 feet. It's going to be about 133 feet to where you want to start to turn to the right, and it's another 126 feet to the basket. This gap right here is about 40 feet in front of the basket. And once you finish hole 4, you'll find hole 5 to your left. Hole 5 is a 259-foot par 3 that goes uphill 12 feet. It's going to be 217 feet to this pine that's in the middle of the fairway. Probably the easiest bet is to go to the left and let your disc finish right. And once you finish hole 5, you'll find hole 6 in front of you to the left. Hole 6 is a par 3 coming in at 298 feet. You're going to want to go straight for about 200 feet, and then it's going to curl to the left at the end. And once you finish hole 6, you'll find hole 7 to your left down the path, and then you're going to take another left where the paths intersect. Hole 7 is a 319-foot par 3 that's going to go downhill 14 feet. It's a lot like hole 6, so you're going to want to go straight for about 200 feet. Then you're going to start to turn to the left here, and then it's another 119 feet to the basket. And once you finish hole 7, you'll find hole 8 to your right. Hole 8 is a 327-foot par 3 that's going to go straight out of this gap and into this field. It's 180 feet to clear the ditch here. You're also going to want to keep the disc low to make sure you can get underneath the tree limbs. But once you finish hole number 8, you're going to find the tee pad for hole 9 to your right on the other side of this triangle fenced-in area. Hole 9 is a 419-foot par 4. Should have no problem getting out of the tree line, And if you don't have the distance to get it there in one, you're probably going to want to throw something that goes right to the left to help open up your second shot into the basket. But once you finish this hole, you'll find hole 10 straight ahead of you. Hole 10 is a 280-foot par 3 that's going to go uphill 11 feet. It's going to be 225 feet to get to these power poles that create a 20-foot gap. And once you finish hole number 10, you'll find hole 11 to your left and up the hill a little bit. Hole 11 is a 578-foot par 4 in this wide open field. There is a fence to the right, so you probably want to throw something that's going to go right to left, making your second shot pretty much the same as your first shot. This hole goes downhill 21 feet, so hopefully you can get some good distance off your first throw, making your second throw hopefully somewhat manageable, giving you a somewhat decent look for birdie. But once you finish hole number 11, you'll find hole 12 to your left across the road. Hole 12 is a 324-foot par 3. It's going to go uphill 13 feet, 194 feet to the top of this little hill, and then it's going to go back down 6 feet. The hard part of this hole is keeping your nose angled down as you try to get over this hill. It's very easy to throw it nose up and stall out early, but once you finish hole 12, you'll find hole 13 back and to your left. Hole 13 is a 335-foot par 3. You have two options. The one is to go through this front gap, which it's 283 feet, or you can try to go to the right side of these trees, but it's going to be a little harder because the tree line's pretty much filled in most of the way, but it's 305 feet to get around that power pole there. And once you finish hole 13, you'll find hole 14 to the right. Hole 14 is a 280-foot par 3 that's going to go straight out into this field, and then it's going to turn to the left. It's going to be 220 feet to get to the gap where we want to start to turn to the left. And then once you finish hole 14, you'll find hole 15 to your right. Hole 15 is a 339-foot par 3 that gives you options to go left or right around this tree here. The right side, as you can see, is pretty closed off to trees, so the left side is a lot more enticing. But hopefully you can get it through that gap and get it into this field and get an easy par. That fence to the left off the tee is OB, so be careful. And once you finish hole 15, you'll find hole 16 straight ahead of you to the left. Hole 16 is a 270-foot par 3 that goes uphill 7 feet. It's a fairly wide open shot with some trees to contend with here at the end. The tree to the right of the basket is 255 feet, so don't let it fool you and make you think this hole's shorter than it is. But once you finish hole 16, you'll find hole 17 to your right. Hole 17 is a 333-foot par 3 that's going to go straight and then turn to the left. You can go left or right of this pole here in front of us, which is about 186 feet off the tee pad. If you go to the left, you're going to have a soft finish. If you go to the right, you're going to want to have something that finishes hard left. But once you finish hole 17, hole 18 is back and to the right. Hole 18 here is pretty much the same as hole 1. It's a 297-foot par 3 in this wide open field. The only thing you want to make sure is that you get over this little valley here because it can fill up with water, as you can see. But hopefully you can get an easy par, maybe even a birdie to finish your round. And once you finish hole 18, the parking lot will be straight ahead of you. Now that you've seen the course, let's take a look at today's disc. It is going to be the Wild Honey from Clash. It is a 12.5 minus 2.2. So let's see how it flies here at the depot. It is a little windy today, so we're going to get probably a little more unusual flight than normal, but let's see how it goes. No. Ugh. I'm out of it. Oh, too far. Oh. Oh. No. You gotta be kidding me. So there you have the wild honey at the depot in Sandersville. As far as the wild honey goes, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I do think it'll bead in nicely and you'll get a good turning disc that will fade back. But I think when you first get it, it's going to be a little more overstable probably than you want. So just use caution if you do want to put it in your bag. I'm not saying don't. I'm also not highly recommending it. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but at the end of the day, the decision is yours. Just know when you first get it, it's going to tend to be a little more overstable. As far as the depot goes, it got a 6.8 overall score. Some of the things that brought it scored down are the scenery. It plays at a water treatment facility plant, which kind of looks a little run down too. The rough is pretty bad. The navigation is pretty difficult in some places, so I would definitely suggest if you do come out here, make sure you have U-disc. It'll make it a lot easier. But I do say come out here, there's some good wide open holes where you can just grip it and rip it. There's some wooded holes, but they're not too tight to where if you make a mistake, you're screwed. So it's definitely worth coming out here, giving it a shot. And until next time, off to the next course.